In May 2009, an Indian student was attacked whilst travelling on a train in Melbourne. He was bashed and robbed by 5 white Caucasian males aged between mid-teens and mid-20s. Initially, this was concluded to be a one-off attack by federal and state police. Hello, my name is Alexandra Smith and this is my presentation for EDC1200, Self-Education and Society. Making reference to the question proposed, how might education mediate difference and dominance, the subject chosen was that of the attacks on Indian students. The topic was widely discussed and exemplified over previous years and remains a topic of discussion throughout Australian media and general public. It is the basis from which numerous racial examples are derived. Prior to the assaults in 2008, the Indian community had received numerous threats, verbal abuse and physical violence implicated upon their race. After the announcement of the first assault, the situation spiralled intensively into a fanatic media focal point. Protests started and an antagonistic racial point was drawn. This involved attacks from both parties. The attacks further increased in relation to that of the Indian race, fostered by numerous racial groups across Melbourne. Over the course of 2 months, the media reported 11 attacks occurring and numerous arrests and charges were laid. It was later found out in 2007 to today that Indians had become a target for crimes for numerous reasons. 2007 to 2008, 1,447 Indians were victims to assaults and robberies in Melbourne alone. In April 2008, taxi drivers in Adelaide went on strike after a taxi driver was assaulted. In May 2009, 4,000 Indian students protested against the assaults occurring in Sydney and Melbourne, arguing they were racially motivated. 18 arrests were made. December 2009 and January 2010, 2 Indians were murdered in Melbourne, and November 2010, another student was stabbed to death. The media fostered the ideology that these were race-based attacks. The federal and state police later announced that it was racially fuelled in June 2009. Examples of charges laid were found to be that of malicious damage, use of prohibited weapons, murder, assisted murder, assault, resisting arrest, theft, and aggravated assault. The formative way that I would include this story to students would be to ask questions. When presenting a class with the subject of what mediates difference and dominance in education, it would be the students' ideas that concluded the agreement or solution. The questions asked to the students would be primarily based around the events that occurred in May 2009. The material phrase that remains in the media, parliament, public views and police is that of race-based attacks. It is proposed that is this due to the colour of their skin? Or is it due to the colour of their hair? Is this specifically targeted on racial appearance? This generalisation would assert the question, how or what defines racism? In what manner is this associated? What does this truly mean? Racism is a belief or doctrine that inherits differences among various human races, determine cultural or individual achievement, usually involving the idea that one's own race is superior and has right to rule others. How is this truly defined? Is it the fact that we look better than you, or I am better than you? But what does it really mean? Is this a key factor in surrounding multicultural society, and how does this affect it? Is it the factor that creates issues surrounding the multiculturalism in Australia? Australia is defined as a multicultural society. Every classroom in Australia would have one person from a different culture, whether it be first, second or third generation. There is always one. What does truly mean to be from a multicultural race? What do we define the context in which we call someone an immigrant? Do you sit next to an immigrant? Am I an immigrant? Who is an immigrant and what base do we conclude this on? Aren't we all essentially immigrants in some manner? A large majority of the Australian population will be tracked back to British descent or that of the European. Whether it be optional or not at the time, we are all immigrants when we come. Key factors to contribute to Australian manner of life is used in songs. I still call Australia home. Displays, I'm always travelling and I'll always be free, but I still call Australia home. Australian national anthem, we share sayings of young and free, and boundless plains we share, but these boundless plains are no longer to share from what we can see. And G'day, G'day presents the idea of welcoming. Over the years, Australia has emerged a country from the bush, Skippy, from the desert, Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, from the beach with Lara Bingle's Where the Bloody Hell Are Ya, and from the city with the Olympic Games and Oprah. But what are we now? Who are we now? With Australia changing more and more into a multicultural society, how do we define how we appear? Does this affect how we judge ourselves or how we judge others? Topics such as the above are key factors that would be brought up in the classroom. Is it a manner that we judge cultural groups? If not, how do we judge them? How do we define them? How do you define me? Should we be defining us? These are the key factors that would be asked and they initiate the arguments from which all this is based. Thank you.